let's talk about the 5 exercises that can help build your glutes. Even though these are only 5, literally there are so many Pilates exercises that you can do at home on the mat that will help build your glutes up. The first one is Sidekick series. So this is part of the classical Pilates beginner's mat routine. So hopefully I can get my whole body in here. Here we go. So your feet are towards the front of the mat. Your back is lined up with the back of the mat. Your arm is out long and your head is down here, or if you're comfortable, you could do this. Your top hand stands, you place your top hand right in front of you. Now, the biggest thing about this exercise is you want to be hip over hip and you want to stay hip over hip. So I'm a visual person. I like to think that there's like a metal rod right in my hip and it's anchoring me into the ground. Your hips are not supposed to move during this exercise. When I spot clients from this exercise, I usually stand on top of them and I place one leg here and one leg behind them to keep their hips still. We don't want our hips wiggling all over the mat. That takes this completely out of your glutes. So this is supposed to be a glute exercise. So Sidekick series has a few different variations. First one is front backs. So you're literally taking your front foot, kicking it slightly forward, and then bringing it back just a little bit behind your starting foot, and forward and back. Notice how my hips are staying perfectly still while I'm doing this. I'm not coming forward with my hips, I'm not going back. The biggest thing is that people focus way too much on trying to do the extreme range of motion. It's supposed to be small at first, forward, back. Now, if you can go a little bit like higher and a little bit further back without wobbling those hips, go right ahead. But if you can't, that's good too. You're still gonna feel it in your glutes. So you're just going forward and back, forward, back. The next one, try to wiggle over so you can see the bottom of my feet, is lower lift. So same thing, our hips are anchored into the mat. Our top leg lifts up just a hip's height and lowers. Yup, that's it. Lift and lower. Lift and lower. Now, can you go higher like this if you have the range of motion? Yes, but you're kind of eliminating your glute. When you're kicking your leg up that high, it becomes a hamstring exercise rather than what we're trying to do is build that ass. You want to build that ass, keep your legs lower. So only up to hips distance and lower. Up to hips height and lower. Up and lower. The next variation of this is circles. So you're going to come up, hips height, and then once again, without really wobbling your hips, you're going to do mini circles. Forward, and then you're going to rotate and do them backwards. My top of my ass is already killing me. 2 other forms or variations you can do. So then you're going to bend your top foot. I need to get a microphone so I can stop screaming. So you're going to bend your top foot, come over that leg. Toes are going to point down towards your toes. You're opening your knee here. Hand is still on the mat. The bottom leg then lowers and lifts. Lowers and lifts. This works your inner thigh and your glute. You want to be focusing on this top knee, trying to push that knee away from you. So it's okay if you even place your hand here and try to push that knee away. That's going to activate your glute. And then once again, push that knee away, lift tiny circles on each side and reverse. Now you want to do about 5 to 8 reps of each of these exercises. If you can do 10, great. Like we said, this is going to work the top of your glutes and your inner thighs. Next exercise to grow your glutes is shoulder bridge. I actually just learned this one. This is part of the intermediate mat system. So you're going to lay down, place your hands down by your side. My back just cracked. That felt so good. Make sure you have a nice neutral pelvis. And what I mean by that is you don't want this big gap underneath your back, right? You don't want your lower back arching. You want your lower back pressed into the mat. So it's about taking your pelvis and almost shifting it forwards so that your back is connected to the mat. Feet are hip sockets distance. So not a hip distance here. Hip socket is a little bit more inwards. Hands are down by your side. Now, This is a glute bridge with spinal articulation. So, basic exercise, you're gonna lift your hips up, and then slow and controlled, you're going to articulate your spine on the mat, starting with your sternum. So you're gonna push your sternum down, then the middle back, then the lower back. Oh my God, that feels so good. And then your pelvis goes last. So how is this a glute exercise? Let me help you. When you lift your hips, I want you to think push into the mat with your feet and squeeze your butt at the top. So I'm pushing downward with my feet, squeezing my butt. Just started a glute exercise right here, keeping my glutes engaged the whole time. Now articulate my spine. One vertebra at a time down on the mat. As you're doing this, think of pushing your heels towards your low back or your butt, and that even intensifies the stretch. So one more time, push into the mat forcefully with your feet. Come up, squeeze those glutes, then spine articulation. One vertebra at a time down onto the mat. This works your glute and is like the best fucking back stretch of all time if you take this nice and slow. And I know my people who think the faster we do exercises, the better burn we get. That's a load of fucking shit. With Pilates, it's all about slow, controlled movement. So don't do this. That's not the exercise. Slow down. Enjoy what you're doing. Take your time. Push into the mat. Lift those hips. Activate those glutes. And what I mean by activate those glutes is imagine there's a penny in between your butt cheek and you're squeezing the shit out of that penny. And then spine articulation. One vertebra at a time. Oh my God, that feels so good. 5 to 8 of those. Another exercise to help build that booty is leg pull back. Now this one is pretty tough. It's an advanced exercise. And it's a lot of wrist stability and control because your palms are facing towards your butt and you're lifting. Let me get back in the camera here. So your palms are facing towards your butt. You're lifting your pelvis up into this nice neutral plank, and then you're kicking your legs one at a time towards your face. Takes a lot of upper body strength, tricep strength, wrist strength, and control. So if you just looked at that and said, bitch, no way in fucking hell, I got you, okay? So to work your way up to that exercise, just hold the bridge, right? Just like in shoulder bridge, it's going to work your glutes. So palms are facing, like your fingers are facing your butt, lift up into that plank and just hold here, squeeze those glutes together, then lower with control. And if you're like, Amanda, I can't get my hips that high, that's okay. It's okay to just try to lift your hips here and then work your way here and then work your way there. Now your head's not dipping back in this either. You're looking down at your toes or looking forward to keep a nice long neck, and then just lower with control. Okay, I'm going to show you the beginners and the intermediate version of Swan because I just learned it this past weekend. So beginners is called Swan Prep. Still gonna work that ass. So don't think because you're at the beginners that you're not getting the workout. Sometimes you get the workout more because you can focus on that area. So you're gonna lie on your stomach. Okay, for Swan Prep, hands are lying on top of each other and your head is on top of your hands. Your legs are long on the mat. Now, this is about extension of the spine, but we want to make sure we don't dump into our low back here. So what do we have to do? Activate those glutes. What does that mean? Take a penny in between your butt cheeks. Squeeze the shit out of that penny, right? That's also going to activate your inner thighs. So if you don't like the penny scenario, think of an orange in between your inner thighs, and you're squeezing that orange. Do you see the difference? Like, look at my butt. It's kind of just jiggly, engaged. Jiggly, engaged. Oh, that shit I say. Okay, hands down by your side. For Swan Prep, all you're gonna do is engage those glutes, lift up, keeping your head connected to your hands, and then lower with control. And you're gonna do that a few more times. Engage those glutes, lift up, and lower with control. Now, a big thing I was doing wrong on exercises that I was lying on my stomach was I thought to push my stomach into the mat. That's not true. What you want to think is trying to pull your stomach away from the mat, right? This engages your abs. It's like you're trying to bring your stomach to your spine. So engage those glutes. Squeeze that penny. Squeeze that orange. Take your belly button to your spine by lifting up, and then hands come up off the mat and lower with control. Now, spine regular, good Christ. Swan is a little bit different. Your hands are going to be down by your side. This is the intermediate of Swan prep. Hands are down by your side, head is on the mat. So first thing you're going to do is you're going to hug your arms into your ribs. So no like chicken arms out here. We're at a 90-degree angle here. We're going to push our belly button to our spine, and then we're just going to lift our hands off the mat with our chest. Okay, then you're going to place your hands down, push into the mat, and then lift that chest up. Now, rather than thinking up with this exercise, I want you to think forward with my sternum. So rather than thinking coming up like this, come up like this. So think I'm lifting and pushing my sternum forward to create that extension while pushing my toes in the opposite direction, engaging those glutes, and then come down with control. Now, you'll see it in pictures like this. Okay, this is dumping completely into my low back. So, Swan isn't supposed to be about this massive extension here. It's supposed to be about slow, controlled movement and engaging your whole body. So, if you're here, that's wonderful. That's beautiful. If you're here, that's wonderful. That's beautiful. If you're here, you're too much. So you want to make sure you're thinking sternum to the front of the wall, legs to the back of the wall, stomach, what is it? Belly button to the spine, and then lift, pushing into the mat, creating that extension, and then you can even lift your hands here. My back just fired up, and then lower everything with control. What feels best for your body, rather than thinking I need to nail the pose exactly how it is and how I see it on the internet. Because just because it looks pretty doesn't necessarily mean it's right for your body. There are certain poses that anatomically, is that the right word? Sure. Some of us are going to struggle with if we have bigger hips, if we have bigger butts. Like, there's a lot to put into play here. So don't force yourself into an exercise, into full range of motion to make it look pretty. Just don't do that. You're gonna hurt your body. Focus on slow, controlled movement and taking it one step at a time and making sure you're focusing on form rather than it looking fancy. More to help build glute strength. Single leg kick. And we all think that this one is like, I don't know, every time I introduce this one, everyone's like, really? This is all I'm doing? It's a great glute exercise. So I'm gonna actually show you single leg and double leg kick if you want to advance. Well, they're two separate moves, they're not advancement. But it is something that you can try if you want to try something a little bit more difficult. Both are great glute builders. So for single leg kick, we are down on our stomach. Elbows are nice and wide here. You can keep your elbows here, or you can bring your hands together. I like nice loose fists together. Okay, so do you see how already I'm like dumping everything into the mat? This is how we start feeling everything in our low back. Let me scoot up here. So, like I said in the previous video, you want to think belly button to spine and engage those glutes. Do you see the difference? So, you're bringing your legs about hip sockets distance apart, I believe it is. You're engaging your glutes, then you are bending your one knee and lifting it slightly off the mat, kick your butt, and lower. Now, you can just do kick and lower, but the sequence is kick, kick, lower, kick, kick, lower, kick, kick, lower. Remember, if you're feeling this in your low back, engage those glutes. Try to lift that stomach, that belly button to your spine. Relax your shoulders. Kick, kick, switch. Kick, kick, switch. And what I mean is hover that knee slightly off the mat. Is when we bend our knees here, do you see how my knees are still touching the mat? If you hover them slightly, it makes it so much harder, which you'll see for double leg kick in a second. So it's like trying to lightly hover that leg and then kick, kick, switch. Bend, hover, kick, kick, switch. You should feel that in your glutes like crazy. Double leg kick is a little bit harder. It's the next exercise in the series, but it's a great glute exercise as well. For double leg kick, you're gonna lie down, place your hands up as high as you can on your back, and they're on top of each other, not interlacing. You're gonna put one cheek on the mat, your legs are glued together. So you are going to pull your belly button to your spine, hug the midline. You'll hear this a lot. Hug the midline means squeeze that orange in between your thighs. Bend your knees and lift them slightly off the mat. Ready? We start with 3 kicks. 3, 2, 1. Then we straighten our legs, put them on the mat, take our hands, lift our torso off the mat as we stretch our hands towards the opposite room, the opposite way. And then before we come down, we turn the cheek, place the hands back to where they belong. So bend, lift them slightly, kick 1, 2, 3, lengthen as we extend and push our sternum towards the mirror or the wall in front of you. Extend here. Those glutes are still activated. Then we lower with control. You want to try to keep your feet from coming off the mat in the extension. But as you can see, I hope you guys can see, mine still slightly come off the mat. So that's something I have to work on, is in that full extension. So lift the knees, activate the glutes, kick, kick, kick. Extend is placing those legs down and thinking sternum to the wall rather than trying to think push my ribs into the mat. Sternum to the wall, belly button to my spine, turn, place the hands back down here. Those are the 5 classical Pilates exercises that will help build your glutes that you can do on a mat in your house.